Khorathi customs officer was still laughing when I set my satchel on his counter. He said something to his supervisor in Khorathi. I caught most of it after 11 years on this route. Roughly, the humans still send the little one with the paper bag. His supervisor made a sound that passed for amusement among his kind, a low click behind the teeth. Two dock workers near the cargo lift turned to look. One of them smirked, put my manifest on the counter and smoothed it flat. My name is Ren Callis. I run the Durrell loop for Meridian contracted freight, Waystation Durrell to the Khorathi terminal, and back 41 stops, 11 years. My satchel is worn because I have carried it on 412 runs. My forms are paper because the Durrell Compact Annex C, Section 14, requires original physical signature for transit passage waiver confirmation, a clause that has been in force for 37 years, and which I did not write, but have read more times than I have slept on this station. The customs officer's name was Veth. I knew Veth. He had been assigned to the Durrell desk for about 4 months, which meant he had processed perhaps a dozen human couriers, and believed he understood the situation thoroughly. "Lot number?" he said, switching to trade tongue, the way you speak to someone slow. I gave him the lot number. He pulled the cargo index on his screen, found the consignment. 12 sealed containers of Khorathi navigational components, inbound from the Meridian hub, bound for the trade fleet currently sitting at berths 4 through 19. 15 ships. I had counted them on the way in. A significant departure window, 3 hours wide, opening in roughly 90 minutes. Beth looked at my manifest. He looked at it the way a man looks at something that has no business existing. "This is handwritten," he said. "Yes. Agency doesn't use the standard freight terminal system. Annex C requires original physical document for this cargo class," I said. "I can show you the citation if you'd like." He did not want the citation. He teamed to show his supervisor the manifest, holding it up like evidence of something. The supervisor clicked again. A second dock worker had wandered over. Veth said, in Khorathi, the humans were still doing things the way their grandparents did, with a stick and a piece of dead tree. His supervisor said that perhaps the human would like a moment to remember what century it was. I waited. I have learned, over 11 years, this part goes faster if you let it finish on its own. Veth stamped the first 3 line items and slid the manifest back. "Discrepancy on item 4, he said. "Declared weight doesn't match terminal scan." I looked at item 4. That'll be the housing brackets. They're rated by displacement volume, not mass. The scan is reading volume as weight. It's a known system error on Khorathi terminals. I have the conversion table here. I produced a second sheet from the satchel. Also handwritten. Also apparently very funny. Beth examined the conversion table. He showed it to his supervisor. His supervisor said something about humans and their antique arithmetic. I heard 2 of the dock workers laugh, a proper laugh this time, the kind that assumed I either didn't understand or didn't matter. I stood at the counter and looked at my watch. 68 minutes to the departure window. Veth worked through items 5 through 9 without comment. Item 10 flagged. A seal certification number that had been reissued after a recall on the original batch, so the number on my manifest didn't match the number in his system, I explained. He verified. Item 11 cleared. Item 12 had a carrier code that Khorathi terminals read as restricted, but it wasn't. It was a legacy code from before the Durrell Compact revision in '09, and I had the amendment paperwork in the satchel's inner pocket, because I always had the amendment paperwork, because this happened about once every 7 runs. Veth was less amused by item 12. He had been expecting a quick stamp and move. He had a fleet to clear. His supervisor had stepped away to take a communication, and when he came back, he spoke to Veth in a lower register, which I took to mean the fleet master was asking about the hold. "How long?" Veth said to me, tone shifted. "I'm ready whenever you are," I said. He processed item 12. He processed the amendment. He processed the reissued seal certification. He came to the final page of the manifest, which was the transit passage waiver, 1 signature line, flagged in the margin with a small red tab, the way my agency flags every waiver on every run, because Annex C is Annex C, and the tab is there so nobody misses it. Veth signed it without reading it. He had a fleet to clear and 50 minutes left, and a human courier, he had decided, was a minor administrative inconvenience. He signed it, and pushed the manifest back across the counter with a motion that meant, "We're done here. Go away." I looked at the signature. I looked at the waiver text above it. I said, "Thank you. I do need to let you know what you've just signed. For your records." Veth was already turning away. "That's the transit passage waiver under Durrell Compact Article 7 Annex C," I said. "It confirms that the consignee, that's your fleet, has taken legal receipt of the cargo. Under Article 7, Paragraph 3, the consignee's receipt waiver is also the releasing instrument for departure clearance. The Waystation Durrell Harbor Master's Office won't process a departure order for a compact registered cargo recipient until the releasing courier countersigns and files the waiver with the harbor master directly." Veth stopped turning away. "I'm the releasing courier," I said. "I file in person, the harbor master's desk. Standard processing is about 40 minutes. He stared at me. Behind him, his supervisor had gone very still. I looked at my watch. 48 minutes to the departure window. "Now, here's where I want to be straightforward with you," I said. "Because in 11 years I have found that being straightforward saves everyone a great deal of time at this particular juncture. The signature you've put on this favor is binding. What that means practically is that if there are any errors on the manifest that haven't been fully resolved, and I want to flag that Item 4's conversion table and the Item 12 amendment may require me to attach supplemental forms before I can file, then I would need to pull the waiver, void it, and restart from the manifest review. That's roughly another 40 minutes of review before I could tender a new waiver for signature." Veth looked at the manifest. He looked at the signed waiver. He looked at his supervisor, who said nothing, because there was nothing useful to say. "Is there a faster way?" Veth said. Not unkindly, the laughter was gone. "If the supplements are already in order, and I think they are, I can file the waiver as is, and have your departure clearance through in the standard 40 minutes. I'd need to head to the harbor master's desk now." I picked up the manifest, the waivers together, and tucked them into the satchel. "Alternatively, if you'd like to void and restart, I can let the fleet master know it was a documentation issue on my end. Either way, I'm easy." Veth asked me to please go file the waiver. I went and filed the waiver. The harbor master's office stamped it in 36 minutes. The fleet cleared its berths with 4 minutes to spare. I picked up my satchel and walked back through the terminal to the shuttle dock. One of the dock workers who had been laughing earlier was eating at a counter near the exit. He watched me walk past. He didn't say anything. Didn't either. I had the return manifest to review before my next stop, and it was a long loop back to Durrell.